Mattel Electronics presents the Intellivision Gamer.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Intellivision Show, episode 92. I'm your host, the Intellivision Gamer, and today we have a very cool episode. We have 8-Bit Widgets crew on, and we're going to talk about the new hardware, the INTYNES, and we'll get to that in a minute. We're also going to have the rest of the regular show. We have a Homebrew Highlight on Mermaid, Enchanted Ocean. We have some news. We have some mail call, a lot of which just came yesterday and today. I didn't buy a whole lot this week, but I do have some cool stuff to show you guys. If you like Intellivision content, please give the show a like. It really does help when we get started. Send it out. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Atari Age, Discord. Those links and my email will be in the description of every video if you need them or you need to get a hold of me. So let's welcome everyone in chat. First, I forgot I need to go through the members. We have 38 channel members. That's insane. Go ahead and read them real quick. We have Roger Matthews, Mike's Gaming Gala, TVsHasselhoff, GoGameGo, Metal Torso, eebuckeye, Michael Dougherty, 8-Bit Widgets, that's Caleb, INTV Fun, Rick Straight, Retro Gaming, Mr. Poestyle, Kurt Bradshaw, Mark Bear, Retro Bliss Gaming, that's Phil, TORQ, Stephen Baker all the way from the UK, Mike, the Gaming Road Warrior, PJ Smith, Eric Lamb, Empty Pixel Gaming, Super Mega Graphics 64, that is Cyrus, TrulyOffensiveName, Bacon Ice Cream Productions, Stone Farmer, Keven Eagles, Brady Goat 12, Retro Tiburon, For Retro's Sake, Lloyd, D, Thumper Squid, Ballistik Coffee Boy, Charlie Hustle, A-Bear Vinson, Off Grid Arcade, Benvril, Salvatore, Pierre Guerrero, and Camo Ducky. Whew! So we'll go ahead and welcome everyone in chat now, and then we'll bring on our guests. Caleb was here first, 2:30. I just noticed the time, Caleb. I saw you were there first when I logged in. And then Benvril shortly after. Code all the way from Georgia. He's looking forward to seeing the new hardware. It's pretty cool, I'll tell you that. We got Phil, Retro Bliss Gaming here. What's going on, Phil? Good to see you. Yes, we're definitely going to be unboxing something. We always do. Almost always. Kurt Bradshaw. Welcome, Kurt. DJC Game Studios. What's going on, sir? Good to see you as well. My INTYNES is better than yours. It's all Casey's fault. Harvey Decline. Welcome, Harvey. Good to see you. He is late. I'm never late. It's always his fault. I don't know what he's talking about.
This is all Casey's fault!
Pierre. Art Big Falls here. I'm a big fan, sir. Big fan. Bartender. We've got all DJC stuff here. PJ Smith. What's going on, sir? Good to see you as well. TORQ's in the house. Welcome, TORQ. Devastating Just Cause. How do you switch them that fast? Michael Dougherty just popped in to say, hey, we'll need to watch the replay, being made to watch something with my wife. I did that last night. My wife doesn't mess with the YouTube shows, though. She knows she won't win. I'm watching the game too, Michael. Casey's got it. Yes, it's short. I don't have the beard all the way faded in. You can see like on that side shot, but definitely shorter hair. All right, let's go ahead and welcome in our guests. Caleb. Whoop. Welcome, Caleb.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
We've got FDR for Prez. Is that what I'm supposed to call you? I forgot
sure.
ask.
Yeah.
And we have Russ. What's going on, Russ?
Hey, what's good?
Let me see. I got to put our name. I always forget whenever I have guests on that we need to, and I forget where it is. Show display names. There we go.
There we are. Yep.
Not everyone knows who everyone is. All right. So we are here to talk about a new cool piece of hardware called the INTYNES. It's been in the works for a while. And can you guys tell us how it was conceived, a little bit about it, and then don't go any farther than that?
Sure. I mean, so I guess I think it. I mean, and Frank and Russ can correct me if I
You
get
gotta cut Caleb off at some point.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it brief.
He'll do the whole show.
Yes, exactly. No, so basically, if I remember correctly, essentially it started with I had a question. I don't know where the idea came from, but I was thinking, I wonder if I could make a light gun for the Intellivision. Just make a gun, like would that even be possible? So I think the general question was basically, can the Intellivision hardware actually handle it in the first place? Because I wasn't really fully aware of how it works. And then that was on the forum, on the Atari Age forum. And then the answers were basically, yes, it should be possible in theory and so forth, and that the hardware is capable of it. And then I think from there, Frank, you kind of took it upon yourself to start prototyping a test, essentially. You breadboarded out like a proof of concept that you showed at PRGE the year before this year, like 2024, right?
Longer than that, yeah.
Has it been longer than that? Okay. Well, it was one of the it was maybe 2023 then?
Possibly, yeah.
Wow. Probably has been that long. But yeah, so basically kind of grew from there. And then and then also, I guess, to piggyback off that, we were working on the IntelliPort, which was kind of proving to be a proof of concept for interfacing with the the system through the cartridge port, right? So once Russ was able to get that engineering feat to work and proof of concept, then it seemed like the idea of creating an INTYNES or a Nintendo version of it seemed very plausible, because we had worked out most of the how feasible is all this in the first place. And so so once we did the IntelliPort and it was done, we kind of rolled over and moved on to the INTYNES, and took it from there. So yeah, I think that's kind of it in a nutshell. Anyone else want to add anything to that?
I mean, it's been a whirlwind of different things that have happened over the last 8 months. It's actually kind of difficult to keep track of what caused what to happen. And Frank and Caleb and myself, we've had a lot of different discussions on how we could kind of make this the best possible thing. And this is kind of our latest baby, and we're pretty proud of it. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've had one for quite a while as well, and I love it. I mean, especially like the new updates. It's like it does a lot. We'll get into that in a minute here. So this is the whole team behind the INTYNES, correct?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know. Obviously, if there's anyone else we needed to thank or bring up.
Deckel and guys like that. I mean, there's a lot of smart dudes on the Atari Age forum and stuff that were obviously helpful in advising and stuff. DZJ and these guys, they all put in their 2 cents worth, which adds up to meaningful help for sure. So we always
can steer you in the right direction. Or
absolutely,
there's some brilliant minds. Lave 26 comes to mind from PRGE. Deckel's another one. Joe Z. There's several. It's like, man, I couldn't even begin to do what they can do.
Sure. So it definitely was. It was. What's that, Russ?
Particular has helped a couple of different times and has really never asked for anything in return. In fact,
I missed 2 weeks.
And he didn't want it, so.
I missed who you said.
Deckel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, in the beginning, talk a little bit about, like, in the beginning, what the INTYNES was going to be and where it's evolved to current form.
Well, I mean, basically, so it really was kind of an extension of the IntelliPort itself, which just gave us the idea of having 2 controllers that could interface. And Frank had done quite a bit of exploration and various programming attempts to get different types of controllers to interface with the Intellivision. And it just seemed to be, it was obviously there was a lot of choices. Like we could do Genesis, we could have done 2600 or a lot of different systems. But I think we ultimately decided that the Nintendo would have been probably the best overall reach because of the zapper. I mean, I know there's the light phaser for the Sega Master System, and while they're not necessarily that hard to come by or necessarily even more expensive than zappers, I just felt like there has to be more zappers out there in the world than light phasers. So we opted to go with the Nintendo approach, since that would give us access to the light gun aspect of the product, and we could kind of move from there. So obviously with the various,
I do recall we were on your showcase one time, and somebody brought up.
Thanks to Frank's efforts there, since post PRGE. And I'm just going to make a quick public announcement. Anyone here who's watching this who bought one at PRGE and hasn't heard from us yet already, we're doing a recall that we're paying for the shipping. So this isn't anything out of your pocket. But basically, if you've got one of the original units we sold at PRGE, we've done a major firmware update, which we are going to talk about more in depth here. But I just want to let you know, please contact me so I can arrange it to get you to send it back to us so we can get it updated and back in your hands with the cool new features we've added. So anyway, that's got that out of the way.
Go ahead, Russ.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I remember we were on your show and somebody out in the chat mentioned bringing your light gun to the Intellivision. It's probably been close to a year ago.
Yeah.
And then Frank had also kind of approached Caleb and I about putting the Nintendo controllers on the Intellivision because he had his own device that he had wired up to do that. So I think those kind of melded together in a kind of an organic way.
Right. You got your Nintendo controllers into my IntelliPort. I got my IntelliPort into your Nintendo controller interface.
Yeah.
So yes, kind of did a Reese's thing there.
So for those of you that haven't seen the unit, this is two different angles in the one pick. It works perfectly. You want to tell us about the controller options? Because it's not just NES controllers that you can use with this.
Right. Yeah, so basically the system at its core has two standard Nintendo controller ports. However, if you get the adapters that we offer, but you can also find them in the wild if you already have one. For example, Casey already owned one and didn't necessarily need one. But essentially, it's a Nintendo to Super Nintendo adapter like that right there, right? So we offer them. But also you could DIY it if you want to, or whatever. But they're just standard. Just look at the pin configurations. There's also one that's now available for the Famicom, which goes Nintendo to Famicom, which is a DB15 port, similar to the Atari 5200. And so this allows you to hook up Famicom controllers. And that's for the Super Famicom, which is actually Super Nintendo. So it's compatible with that. Yeah, so that's basically, you've got the core system, which gives you two ports for Nintendo. With adapters, you can have either Famicom or Super Nintendo controllers added to it as well.
And this controller obviously has a number pad, which is great, replacement for this.
Right.
And these things, FDR, you know all about these controllers. What is this thing called, and how do you get one?
It's a Super Famicom data networking controller thing. They're primarily out of Japan, but you can find local sources on eBay for them.
Right.
I think I got them. I think both of mine came from Japan, but you can find them on eBay.
Yeah,
NTT.
that's where I got mine.
Yep.
NTT
having that, this one as well is fully supported, and the keypad does make it nice when you're playing television games and you need to input commands. Some games will let you use, you'll just have another controller sitting there plugged in for that, but some games won't. Some games you have to push it on the controller you're using. Also, the NES Advantage, the joysticks, and another big thing that I fully tested. You've got all these modern controllers designed for NES and Super Nintendo, so you don't have to worry about getting old controllers, and these babies are wireless.
Right.
This works perfectly. You put in your INTYNES, you plug in the little dongle receiver, and then you just play. It just works. It's amazing. And these controllers are brand new, readily available for a decent price on Amazon and other places. So you instantly have a ton of options. And there's two ports there. You can also have the regular controllers plugged in too, right? Go back and forth.
Right. They're just kind of talking on the same highways. Unless you were trying to push buttons on both at the same time.
Don't do that.
It's just going to confuse things. It won't hurt anything, but it just means you're going to be fight. It's like if you've ever hooked up two mice to a computer at one time, they'll both work independently, but if you try to move them both at the same time, they just kind of cancel each other out. So another interesting feature too with the NTT, the Super Nintendo option that folks should be aware of, and I believe as well with the Famicom version, there's a dual action mode that we have, which will in fact allow you to use player 1's direction and player 2's number pad, which effectively does the same thing that the controller couplers I make would offer. So you can actually run and shoot smoothly playing Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, Tron Deadly Discs, and so forth. built right into one controller.
Just so many different ways to play with different controllers, different modes. I don't think we've covered the modes. Who wants to talk about the different modes available?
I'll let one of these guys take that, because these are the two that really rock starred and took this thing to 11 with the various firmware updates that this new update brings. So go ahead, guys.
I'll let Frank take it.
Okay.
Yeah, he was more of the architect. Go ahead.
For the NES controller, we have 3 mappings or modes, however you want to refer to them. But on the NES controller, you only have an A and B button. And to help with the third button that's needed on the Intellivision, we programmed the start button to be the third fire button. But also, so that's useful for 3-button games. But for 2-button games, you could activate a different NES mapping so that it's designed for 2-button games. And the A and B button will work together, and then the start button is remapped to be your pause button if the 1 and 9 combo works for that. We also have a newly added mode that if you want to use the D-pad with your right thumb, you could enter in a certain key sequence, and then it basically flips the controller over, and then you can use the D-pad with your right thumb and the A and B button with your left thumb. We just recently, like in the past couple days, added that mode into all the different controllers. But for the NES, we have the 3-button mode and the 2-button mode. On the Famicom, which Casey doesn't have a picture. Caleb, do you have your Famicom? No, not that one. That's the.
I have the
Can you show it?
Give me a second. Let me go look.
Right. But it's so the Famicom one that we're referring to is the Japanese Famicom data controller. So it's slim black, and it's
I was gonna say, is that the black one?
Yeah, the black one. And it also has a number pad on it. And we have various modes or mappings so that the 3 buttons are mapped out to various buttons on the keypad. And there's a dual action mode for that one, so you can use the D-pad and the running at the same time. And we also have the upside down, or the left mode, or however you want to refer to it. So the D-pad is on the opposite side. And then we have, I don't know, for the NES, we have 4, or depending on how you count, 6 or 7 different mappings for that. All just because on the Super Nintendo controller, you have the 4 fire buttons. And so we mapped those to kind of better suit how you want to play the game. We can map those to the different 3 buttons for the Intellivision. So one mode might be the X and Y might be the upper, and the A and B would be lower left, lower right. A different mapping might be the A and B are the upper, and the X and Y are lower left, lower right. So basically, we're going to need a manual or a guide to help the customers find the mapping that better suits their play style and how they want to use that controller with the INTYNES. Also, the one thing that's really important is once you set that mode, it's saved in memory on the adapter. So during a reset or a power cycle, you take it out because you need to do something else, you put it back in. It'll remember the last mode that you set for that controller type.
That's nice. So you don't have to constantly, every time which one's it on? Which one did I like again? You can just leave it if you find one.
Exactly. And we are maintaining those settings separately for each port. So the left port, you can have it set to that mode, and the right port, you can set it to a different mode, and it'll remember that. So if you want to have
tried that yet.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
So it's not just controllers that this thing is giving us. Who wants to talk about?
I mean, I'll talk about it, I guess. But yeah, so basically, yeah. So that was the thing that got this whole thing really going, I think, for us, and why we chose the Nintendo version to go with was because of the potential of light guns. I mean, I'm a big light gun fan. That's one of the reasons why I hold on to CRTs still, is because I have light guns for pretty much all the systems I own, and I just got a Dreamcast and got the light gun for that. So I'll be looking forward to once I get the ODE installed, I can actually play House of the Dead 2 and some other stuff. But yeah, so light guns are just something that the Intellivision never had. We just completely skipped over on that one. So I just think it's always been cool, the idea of being able to like make new gameplay experiences and possibilities with the Intellivision. And this was definitely a key one to do. I know, of course, the CRT requirement is always a kind of a wet blanket for some people, but they're still not that hard to come by these days. You can still find them free. I don't think it's that hard if you really, and you don't have to get a big 32-inch like I've got. You can use it. I mean, I've tested on an Amiga monitor. It's 13 inches, and it still plays fine with light guns. That's something you can hold in anyone can carry that around.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to carry around a 32-inch. I have one, and I hurt my back if I try to do it by myself. And so,
yeah. I just gave away a 27-inch Trinitron flat screen, and yeah, that's a 2-person operation for sure.
Yes, and it's still heavy.
Yeah. Oh my God. So yeah. So that really, I'm very excited. I mean, Carlos did a fantastic job with Duck Hunter. We had a blast with people playing not just one light gun, which is my favorite slogan is. We did what Nintendo didn't, which is allow more than one light gun in a single game. So we technically support up to 4 light guns, and Carlos actually wrote one of his early prototype games, or several, that support up to 4 light guns simultaneously. And it works great. We actually use it. We tested it at PRGE. There's footage around that you can see of people doing it. But it's fantastic. You can basically do them in piggyback like that in series. And, those probably won't fit. I don't know if the cases were even designed like that, but yes,
Yeah, it will.
There you go. Good. But yeah, so I'm really excited about the potential for light guns, because think about it. Now, with just a single device, of course, you can only do 2-player light gun games, but that's still cool because you can even do like a game where you can hold 2 guns and double up if you're just playing by yourself, or you could do different combinations of multiplayer stuff as well. The Duck Hunter game is going to support it has a 2-player mode, which of course Nintendo didn't. And so now you're both shooting at the ducks at the same time. Go ahead.
Caleb, I don't think anyone's explicitly said there is a 1-2/3-4 switch on the back, so you can. This for players 3 and 4, and then the Intellivision's controls for 1 and 2, and then that's how we can use 4 players on the light guns.
I'm not sure if this is me or you.
2 of these in series.
Are you talking about the Echo?
I'm sorry. He was just like completely chopping. I heard like syllables and.
I heard.
1, 2. Can you hear me now? Is it still?
I'm hearing you fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Caleb is the one who's choppy.
Okay.
It might be your internet, Caleb.
So. Yeah, probably.
I'm just talking about the 1, 2, 3, 4 switch, because nobody really mentioned that. That's.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Right, you're right. That's very true. Sorry, yes, you're right. On the back side, there's that switch there, so you can flip it. And it's similar to the IntelliPort or the IntyPort. Basically, 1 and 2 is for player one and player 2, and then the 4 becomes 3 and 4 slots, like the ECS.
So when you daisy chain them, one would be on one setting and one would be on the other, correct?
Correct.
Does it matter which one? Like the first one has to be 2? No. That's all the same?
Nope. It's all the same.
So the gun games, at PRGE, you guys attended. All 4 of us were there, in fact. That was quite popular. I tried, because there were the new games there, and I haven't tried them yet. But that thing was, every time I walked by, there was all kinds of people playing it. Everyone was having a blast. Unfortunately, it was kind of a crappy TV that we ended up with. But the games themselves were great. And, they were daisy chained, and people were just playing all the shooting games. So we had Duck Hunter. What other demo gun games did we have there?
Shooting Gallery, right? And there was also a Bank Panic adaptation where basically you play Bank Panic, but you use a light gun instead of hitting numbers to shoot. And then whatchamacallit? What's the third? Why am I drawing a blank on the third one or the fourth one?
What's going on, Retro Bro?
There was, let's see again. So there was Duck Hunter, there was Shooting Gallery, there was Bank Panic, and then I thought there was another one.
Zapper Lord.
Warlords, that's right. That's right. So it's basically Warlords, but with the light gun. You shoot when they're in your corner, it'll basically ricochet off, and you can bounce it back towards your opponents.
I've seen the games online, but I have not actually tried them. As soon as I get CRT up here, I plan on giving them all a go, making some videos. This is a question for you guys, not directly, but does the Intellivision use assembly coding?
It can.
I think that's the primary language, like the most direct language that's possible. IntyBasic, as I understand it, is essentially a kind of assembly language, but basically Oscar wrote a bunch of sort of like routines that are kind of combining the code that typical programmers would have to write out to make, like change the background color can be done in a single line of code, where traditional assembly would require a whole list of tech, of text and stuff to make it happen. So it speeds up the process of development, but it's still a compiled language. So you still get very good performance with the final, .bin file that you end up with.
And I seen this comment. Did we already talk about it and I missed it? Now, depending on what controller you have plugged in, what does the INTYNES do?
Oh, the color.
Lighting.
Yeah, the fiber optic change. There's a fiber optic ring around each of the controller ports. They change based on what controller is plugged in. It auto detects this. So if you plug a Nintendo controller in, for example, standard NES plug, it's going to have a red ring around it, basically around the upper arc. And then when you plug a Super Nintendo controller, it actually becomes purple. And if you use the zapper, it'll turn blue. It'll detect that. Now, one note for anyone who tries it for the first time: when you plug the light gun in, you actually have to point the gun, not click the trigger, just point the light gun at the TV, and it will be necessary for it to make a loop through, detect the gun that way. So at first you plug it in, it won't be blue instantly, but as soon as you take the gun and point at the TV, then the blue ring appears.
Truly,
and then also those
was at PRD and picked one up. Just want to make sure that you were here earlier, that he's offering a free upgrade service. Were you hearing? Did you hear that? Or so they can give you the newest firmware?
Right. Contact us and we'll cover the shipping. Mail it back to us. We'll update the firmware and return it to you with the new updates.
Retro Bro is saying the reason he was asking, I don't know if that was a correction because I know nothing about programming. He says, reason I ask is I use 6502 for the NES. He says, that's interesting. Maybe I'll make an Intellivision game. He's a Retro Bro's and mainly an NES guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you know that, I mean, again, I would still advise you check out IntyBasic because it's just going to make your life easier to get up and running faster. But your programming background will be a huge advantage, especially with a low-level language like that. I forget the CPU of the Intellivision. Frank, it's a different CPU than that, I think.
Yes, I don't rightly recall, but there's this. If you go into Atari Age, there's this in the Intellivision forum. There's a subforum for programming, and a couple of the programmers do use assembly. They don't use IntyBasic.
Right.
So they'll be able to guide you, and they'll be able to help you out.
For sure. Yeah, they're really helpful guys. You just give it a try, ask your questions. I can promise you that you won't get a cold shoulder or mocked or anything. It's like I've had a lot of help from DZJ and some of the other guys have all been super helpful when I was asking my noob questions, and I don't have an ASM background.
IntyBasic is pretty much what almost all homebrews are made with these days, Retro Bro.
And Retro Bro, you'll find it's also very cool about the Intellivision. That's unlike some of the other systems even today. There is actually the JLP format, which is essentially a standard that's available that you can use, which will allow you to actually save your state of like saved games and such. So that's a really cool feature that basically all of the really good current high quality homebrew games take advantage of, so that you can like save like your high score or your progress in a game, which allows a lot more, like a much richer game experience. Not to mention it gives you larger access to bank switching, which allows you to have larger games. So that you just can have a lot more content. So you could really make like an RPG or something with the Intellivision. That combines light gun with it if you want. But anyway, so there's a lot of possibilities with the Intellivision for that. So JLP is a key word to check into. It's a standard that is available also on the backbit. And as well as there are, if you want to do a homebrew game, you want to sell it in a cartridge form, Luke and several other people, maybe only Luke, I think William also, several publishers have access to the JLP board that you could basically buy and essentially flash that with your code to put that on there so you could sell it in a cartridge form. And it'll give you access to all the save state information and loading.
That gives you a lot more the size you can work with too, JLP, right? That's how they make some of these.
I think it's 512 kilobytes is the max size that a game can be at this point. So it's quite a bit of information. And again, these games really, and it also gives additional RAM, I believe, as well. So you're just generally going to have, you're still using the original hardware. There's no acceleration, although I think it technically does have a CPU on it that could be used for acceleration. But that's when you get into programming in C and doing some other stuff like Champ Games does. But not really. I don't think many people, I think I've heard there's like one game that used acceleration for the Intellivision at this point. So it's pretty unusual, but it'd be awesome to do that.
So I got to catch up on a few questions here.
Only Luke has, okay, directly. Okay. I guess he probably sells them to William. He probably sells them to William.
Yeah. Rev says Luke has access to JLP directly. And then Kurt Bradshaw is asking about, we'll work on the Sprint. Kurt, this is an adapter that plugs into your original console in the cartridge slot, so you can use various different controllers on your original consoles. So it's not a controller; it's an adapter that lets you plug in other controllers and light guns for all the light gun. There's several light gun games that are about to be hit. Could the Sprint allow game saving for those games that allow it? They can. I hope they get to that because we told them about it.
Right. They haven't. Right. They just didn't know it was a thing, so they've not done it yet. But the hardware should be capable of it.
That was the only thing that didn't work were the game saves.
Right.
Post he's answering. It says, I believe it plugs into the cartridge slot of an OG Intellivision and Intellivision 2. Any Intellivision, yeah, it'll work.
Yeah, it works with all of them. It also works with all the ECS, LTO, backbits, everything. We've tested with everything. System changer, all these things can go through it. Now, we do typically advise that we plug it in as the first thing you plug into the system, but in theory, or really in practice even, you could flip it around. If you want to put your IntelliVoice in first and then you want to plug the INTYNES in, completely, it should work. But we kind of said just to ourselves, listen, officially, we want people to put that in first so we can say that's the one we support, because we just didn't necessarily have the time or the resources to test every possible combination in every form. So, but so far, we've not run into any actual problems with that.
Tofu, this one, that's not going to be a thing. There was questions that came up on this, and it's running JZ INTV, which a lot of us use on the PCs. So there won't be any save rewind function, but game saves, yes, but not what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's a feature that's not in the JZ INTV emulator.
Yeah, they're gonna keep doing upgrades, but things like that, I don't think they have interest in. To add more features and things that are regular Intellivision items, they are on board for, but we'll see. I mean, what are we at? Less than 3 weeks to the Sprint. So
right. Yeah, I pre-ordered mine, so I'm ready.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm excited. I wonder, did I miss anyone's question? I think I got them all now. So I know you think of a lot of things outside the box. What else have you thought of that having light gun games and different controllers that can bring to Intellivision Homebrew?
Well, I mean, we've had a few other discussions about other future products and stuff, and it's one of those things we're basically taking a break on this kind of stuff at this point because we've already created two very interesting options for the Intellivision community to enjoy. We're really hoping that, of course, the homebrew development scene takes like the 4-player capabilities of the IntelliPort or in the NT port, and then as far as the INTYNES, the same thing. It's like with the Zapper light gun games. We'd really like to see what kind of comes of that kind of stuff, and then we can down the road. But I think one thing we've been looking into is potentially a 2600 / Genesis sort of / Super Sega Master System combo. The big thing we were looking at with that was potentially getting like the tennis paddle, like Pong controllers to work, the analog ones, as well as roller balls to work. So this would open up some interesting possibilities for future accessories as well. So really, that's the thing I just was looking at. But good.
Yeah, also the DAC mode is another gaming option that I think would be pretty cool if someone wrote a 2-player DAC game to make use of that. Just because now you can.
Well, explain what DAC. What does that mean? Explain that to me.
Yeah. Because if I don't know what it means, I know there's other
controller mode. So is it possible to demo anything or
the dual action?
Yeah,
dual action controller mode.
right. What I kind of mentioned earlier,
okay.
Dual action. Right. But
yeah, dual action controller?
Yeah, so that would be
yeah. So go ahead, Frank. Frank's pretty good at explaining this.
Yeah.
I was reading. I missed the question. Sorry.
Well, just talking about the different gaming options that have been opened up with IntelliPort and now INTYNES. We have the 4-player options are a lot easier. It no longer requires an ECS. And then we have the light gun games that are going to be coming out. And now with this latest firmware update, we have the DAC mode. And that could open up some possibilities for 2-player DAC games. But the audience may not know what DAC stands for. So
yeah, the dual action controller mode is named from the dual action controller that was made by Paul.
Right.
He sold a number of them, but it essentially was a Intellivision flashback controller that was rewired and the 2 Mylars from 2 controllers were cut up and placed in 1 controller in such a way that you'd have 2 cables coming out, one for the left port, one for the right port. So one cable was for the disk and side buttons because they can be used together simultaneously, and then the other for the keypad. So one doesn't step on the other. So Tron Deadly Disc, Night Stalker, Cloudy Mountain, and maybe a few other games that you needed to use the keypad to shoot, but you also needed to use the disc to move, and you couldn't do the both at the same time. So the dual action controller was a nice little invention by Paul that allowed that. And so we're just in honor of that, we are using that naming nomenclature for our mode, dual action controller mode, or DAC for short. So if someone is willing to make a 2-player DAC game, we can have the 2 console controllers be used for player 1, and then the 2 NT ports or one of the NTT controllers used for the other player.
That's very cool. Yeah. One thing that I know David's working on as far as hacking some ROMs, he's been working through a short list of ECS games that would require it to make sure that they basically would work with the NT port without the ECS at all, right? Just to bypass that completely. And I think we've pretty much seen all of them work one way or another. Even World Soccer works now, so you can actually play 4 players with the ECS, with the NT port, and not have to have the ECS at all.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, imagine a game like Smash TV or something, right? Or even a 2-player version of Discs of Tron, or Tron Deadly Discs. Would be really pretty awesome. And another one that I think is actually looking to hack Day One wants to work is the basketball game. Basically, basketball was a great example of a game that uses disc and uses the number pads exclusively. There are no side buttons. It's just disc and number pad. And having access to the number pad, fluidly, is just a nice advantage to have. So what will happen is it would effectively mean that player 1, player 3 are player 1, and player controller 2 and 4 are for player 2. So you'd be able to move and shoot with the baskets and stuff fluidly. It wouldn't be like the buttons are interrupting your movement. So that's another. Those are little works in progress. And it's more NT port news, but still.
I mean, from my perspective, I know that there's going to be several light guns coming out over the next several months, couple of years over time. But I really do hope that we do get like a little bit more activity as far as the 4-player games in the DAC mode option that we just kind of came up with now. So that's where it's kind of like, when we have this new capability, it would be great if a couple of the programmers out there would kind of step up and see what they can do with it. And we're also kind of interested in coming out with other hardware like a wheel or a roller, a paddle, and all those different options. But it'd be kind of nice to see this happening. Then we know that we're going to put this energy into creating something else, and we'll kind of have confidence that it'll be kind of utilized. And so we're just kind of at this point going to take a breather and see what people think about it, and we may progress to do some other stuff. But yeah, that's kind of, at least that's kind of where my mind is at right now.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely bringing new ways and new games that we've never had on Intellivision. It's like a breath of fresh air. You know, it's like there's so many new options and so many new tools that programmers can use to bring us a different kind of game that we've never had. I wanted to welcome Luke. He's I don't know if you guys read that. He's like, "Good evening, gentlemen. It's like a PRG reunion again." We would need about 20 more people, but what's going on, Luke? So gun games, I mean, I've played some of them, and they work so well. It's so well done, and I know there's going to be news shortly, and I hope you guys are getting into all that because it's going to be worth it. CRT is probably the biggest hurdle, but a lot of us still have those around. So
yeah, it's.
I play with guns. So guns would be. I never even thought of that.
Well, when I was at PRGE, that's what I was doing sometimes. I just take two guns. I was like John Wick, you know, I was playing duck hunt, John Wick style. But yeah, it's really cool. It is a lot of fun to be able to do it. What's also kind of cool, and Bank Panic approaches that too with Carlos, but that's the thing I was thinking. I was taking it where you could have like a controller and a zapper together, so that you could actually do like a game that maybe like you're moving and you're shooting kind of a thing, as opposed to just shooting at a screen, and be more interactive with what's going on in the game itself. So there's like a lot of potential.
What about a game that one person is using the controller and one person's using a gun?
Sure, like a co-op. Well, that's one thing that would be a neat feature. I guess apparently that's one thing I learned at PRGE is that Duck Hunt apparently did have a mode where you could have two players. One kid would get to control the duck, and the other one was a shooter. So that's pretty slick. I was like, that would be kind of a neat thing. I didn't know that was a thing until, you know.
I had forgotten about that, Caleb, and I was kind of touting the, you know, we have 2-player mode. We can use 2 light guns and play at the same time. And I was corrected by one of the testers that there was that option on the Nintendo. And then I kind of remembered it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know it back in the day at all. Oblivious. But yeah, that was just smart. That's a cool thought. So there's a lot of creative possibilities, and I really do think that it's going to be one of those things where people. I think it's always a chicken or the egg kind of thing, right? We obviously need more units out there to make it more worthwhile. But I think what's going to be what Luke's talked and shared with a little bit as far as his plans with the light gun games this year in 2026 is going to be really exciting. I myself am very happy that I finally got, you know, Inty Basic basically working on my 2 computers. So I'm very happy that I can get back to making my Hello Worlds again. So I'm very, very much a beginner in a lot of this way, but I'm gonna, like, you know, I tried a couple of years ago, got fairly into it, but then 3D printing and making game accessories sort of took over my life, and all my progress got derailed. And I was like, yeah,
there's only so much time in the day.
I couldn't split my brain between learning 3D printing and making all these accessories for games and stuff, and then programming. I was like, okay, I had to stop. But no, I feel like now we're at a point where it's like I'm ready to come back to that again. Now that we got this hardware, it's a lot more inspiring for me too to have something really to try to, you know, innovate on.
Sweet. Retrobro says, I would say most retro gamers have a CRT, but then again, the only reason why I had one was to test my own light gun game. He's released NES Homebrew, and which I have right around me somewhere. Awesome. But yeah, I mean, if you are into retro gaming, some people prefer to play on it. I've never really been around to know a difference, but I have several.
Well, for true emulation, especially with the Mister, if you want to get real time, no glitching, and it, you know what, it has the perfect CRT filter when you just play it on a CRT,
right? Right. That's true. It makes a difference. It's kind of the thing. I mean, it's a purist thing on some level too. I mean, it's like, you know, because, you know, when these game designers back in the day were making their games, they were making them for a CRT. They were using colors and shades and pixels that were intended to look their best on the scan lines of a television. It's just how it was.
Yeah.
They were the limitations they were working within. So when you see that put onto a modern, LCD screen or whatever, you get the blocky look and the colors are a little weird. I don't really. I've still played plenty on regular laptop screens and computers and PCs. I don't really. It doesn't bother me that much, but again, light guns were kind of the thing for me. I was like, well, you know what? I really would like to have a light gun, and someone's giving away a free 32-inch television. Okay, done. I'm gonna just go all the way with the CRT. But yeah, if they all died tomorrow, I wouldn't care. They'd go back and just rather. What?
There are light guns that are just coming out that are working on the new the new HD TVs, but I don't know. I have one on order. I don't know how well that's gonna work or if it could ever be adapted. Right. I don't know.
There's that guy in Japan. There's some company. There's a couple guys from Japan that were at PRGE that were working on some kind of light gun that would work with a PlayStation 2.
I saw that.
But there was a guy, Light Gun Fanatic, did a review on it, and at this point right now, it had issues. It wasn't ready for prime time. So they're working on it. I'm sure they'll get better. They're certainly moving in the right direction. But the trick is for us is it's like we're using actual original hardware. So the light guns themselves, now you could make a new gun that has an NES plug that plugs in or an adapter or something. I mean, I'm sure there's always ways of making things talk, but yeah, to truly get like a zapper to work with a modern television at this point, it's just not in the cards at this point. So
yeah, there's no,
it just doesn't happen. But but give it time, I'm sure.
Chris brought up, this is Lathe. He brought up something that I never heard before. So Inty Basic allows you to mix in assembly language in case you need it. That's definitely cool for those that know that.
Right, definitely, for sure. Well, I mean, Oscar
says 0 lag on a CRT. It's goated. It will be a sad day when they are all gone. Hopefully, I'll be gone by then too. They'll just keep getting more expensive. The good ones are really expensive, like the really good CRTs, like gaming
TVMs.
They're going for a lot of money.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Not even worth it, honestly. It's not that great. It's, I think it's overrated. But it's like people with vinyls and stuff. It's like, I have to have a certain turntable and a certain diamond and all this stuff. It's, I think at some point it just becomes, a measuring contest.
So Kurt's asking, can't play a gun game on a regular TV. You have to have the old school CRT boot tube.
Right, but it can be just about any size. You could play it on a 5-inch television if you can. It'll work. I'm not saying it's the best experience, but it will work. So like I said, I tested it on a 13-inch Amiga monitor at one point, and it worked great. It was tracking super. So you've got a lot of options with CRTs. They don't all have to be big, heavy 400-pound console systems. There's a lot of like between 13 to 20-inch televisions that are very much something a person can walk around with and move, and doesn't take up a huge amount of space.
I would say that's the one. Whenever Frank would come over, back and forth 20-inch. They're not super heavy. They don't take up a ton of space. You can move it around. They're not hard to come by, and it's not so small that you can't. I mean, when I was growing up, when I was young, I don't remember many people having larger than a 20-inch TV until a certain year.
Yep. I had a black and white 19-inch television that my grandmother gave me back in 90. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what I was playing. I was black and white, but I loved it. I was in my own room playing my Nintendo, trying to beat Ninja Gaiden.
So mine, we had, most of us had one TV in the household too. I'm 50. That's when I was coming up. My uncle bought us 13-inch black and white TVs. And I hated playing games on black and white, but I'll tell you what, when Dad came home and kicked us off the TV, I could still go play, which was king. I wasn't just stuck.
Yeah.
So we did do it. And then I don't remember what point we got color TVs, several years later. But, nobody had big TVs. No one had extra TVs. Just having one was really cool.
Hey, a quick question, Casey. Are you able to demonstrate it all from your point, it plugged in? Because if not, I could at least do a quick having it in television. That's not, I can't show any screen action, but I can at least show the fiber optic stuff or something like that.
I can. Luckily, I have it all right here. Just give me a second, and What are you wanting me to show? Because I don't have an overhead cam.
Yeah, I was just going to show the glow of the fiber optic effect, like changing colors and stuff.
Okay.
If you can't do that, don't worry about it. I've got a way to do it. I can rig it up real fast while you guys talk.
I can do this. We're going to show the messy desk. Oh, maybe I can't.
That won't stretch.
I've got
don't worry
something.
about it.
Normally
Yeah,
it would, but I've got something apparently on the cord back there.
Yeah, let me see what I can throw together real quick.
Let me see if I can do it this way. It's not going to come up very well.
Turn off your lights. Turn off your lights, Casey. Play in the dark.
Turn off the
All right. Here. Got plugged in. Let's see if we can do this.
I can't even reach the other lights. The room lights are still on.
Yep.
Yeah, we can see
So
the
this
green.
is a
You see the green power. Oh, that's the other thing. It's got a power light.
light
So
purple.
Yeah, it's a light purple.
That almost
So
looks
you have
like
an NES or the NTT plugged in.
I have the NTT plugged in currently. Go back.
wait, no. Alexa, turn on Lloyd 8.
Let me catch up with chat here while Caleb is off. Luke says it's been confirmed working on PAL systems as well. That's awesome.
Yep.
Everyone can get in on the fun. Retrobus says they have made some OG NES light gun games to work on modern TVs. There's a way to go into code and basically work around the lag, which causes the light gun not to work. Mr. Poestyle says, I remember when my local thrift store was just giving away CRT TVs because nobody wanted them not anymore. Yeah, even, couple years ago, there were so many people just wanting to get rid of them. You could get them free. And then I started seeing them for sale for like $20, $30, $40, $50. And then the price just keeps rising. I think as they get more rare, it's just going to keep going up, especially the good gaming models. Kurt, it's a tube TV. The old school TVs before the modern TVs, Kurt. Cathode ray tube. There's a beam that scans across needed for old style light guns. And Luke saying CRT, cathode ray tube. KC in the light purple. Whatever controller you plug in, that light changes color as well.
It's like all my Intellivision cartridges are currently like buried or out in the car at this moment. I'm just like the worst time to do this. But I've got a zapper and a controller here.
Am I blurry?
I don't think.
Oh, I know why.
I don't think you technically have to have a game plugged in for the lights to work, right? For the fiber optic to detect.
That's correct.
Okay, good. Well, then I can still demo it then. All right, so what I've got here is a light gun and
Give me 1 second.
Standard NES.
How do I?
But you do need CRT for that light gun, Caleb.
Well, it's in the other room. I can't demo that part, but at least I
haven't
can
done this one in a while.
plug it in. Here we go. Let's see what happens here.
Here we go.
Where did that thing go? This one is it plugged in? Oh no! Wait.
What remotes do you have plugged in right now?
Who, me?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
an inside
what
joke.
controller?
Oh yeah. Just want to see if we get any power right now. Hold on. System's not turning on without a cartridge. I think it needs to have a cartridge.
I still occasionally get mixed up which controller I have plugged in. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the wrong
There we
color. And I finally figure out, oh no, it is the right color.
It does. It needs a cartridge plugged in. Oh no! Hold on. There we go. Yeah. Got something to be up with this. Let's see. All right. Well, you can see that's what the light gun is. Well, here, light off a little bit here.
How did you trigger that to go off?
I think just maybe a bright white light or something tricked it. But yeah, so
The green light somewhere.
yeah. So then I unplugged that.
Sometimes fluorescent lights can trigger it. Or I used to be able to get a trigger off of my LED lights in some of my fixtures.
All right, and then plug this Intellivision controller in. Yeah, this is a bad. Now this is a bad Intellivision controller, but yeah. So, but yeah, we're gonna make, like I said, in the near future, I'm gonna make a video that better demonstrates everything. Just kind of takes it from the top, where I really could just set the camera and actually demonstrate everything working. I have now I have Super Mario Brothers. That was another really good learning experience we got from that we had from being at PRGE. Was I'd never played Super Mario Brothers for the Intellivision, and the whole thing was that I was having people play it who like obviously know Super Mario Brothers, and they're like, "Oh, look, I can't run and jump." I'm like, "Oh, that's weird. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I've never played the system before, and maybe it's intentional." And then there was another thing we realized that was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Jump is run and run is jump. The A and B are basically reversed and stuff." So we're like,
It's AB on there.
Right, exactly. So it was, but it all made sense from a pure Intellivision standpoint. The controllers were programmed in a logical way, but because of the nature of how Super Mario Brothers works, and it was being made for the controller of the Intellivision, they reversed the buttons because it made sense for that purpose. So that's where the mode thing really came into fruition. We're like, well, we really don't want people to play Super Mario Brothers with an NES controller and have to rethink the buttons. And the run
was not easy.
No, and then run and jump is such an integral part of the whole game experience, to be able to kind of ride the run, and jump with your, the way you press it. Just would obviously be a real miss in terms of feeling like, hey, with the INTYNES, you can play Super Mario Brothers on the Intellivision with an original Intellivision or with original Nintendo controller.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
okay, can I interrupt? So we understood how to make it work with the original Nintendo controller.
Right.
But when you go over to the SNES controller, there's a couple of different approaches to how you can map those buttons out. And we had some internal debate amongst ourselves with the best way of doing that. And we ended up putting both ways. But I would be curious in the audience, or even you, Casey, I don't know if you've thought about this. Which button should be run and which button should be jump on the Super Nintendo controller?
The standard one.
Yeah.
Or the NTT is basically follows the same.
NTT or SNES controller.
You were to play Super Mario Brothers, not Super Mario World or anything else, but just the original SMB.
Are you talking about like if it's Y and B or B and A?
Yeah.
I can go either one, because I think on Super Nintendo I used Y and B. But because you just kind of drop your thumb down, but you can also hold this like an NES controller, and that was obviously BA.
Right.
Either way would be fine for me.
Well, we covered you both of them, so
I'm impressed. You're very well versed on that, unless you had a discussion with Frank about that earlier.
So yes, and yeah, it's so that was the kind of the fun aspect of that, was like realizing like, well, we could actually do both, like well, let's just do it then, instead of choosing one or the other. Give people more variety, more options.
I mean, if there's no option, you're gonna figure it out and get used to it. But if it's nice to have different layouts where you can make everyone happy.
Sure. Well, exactly. This is the last firmware update we're doing for this thing. We wanted to get it right this time and get everything checked off as best as possible.
I appreciate all the work, because now I have been trying to beat Super Mario Brothers on Intellivision with the INTYNES and an NES controller. So now that I have that new firmware, it's gonna make it a lot easier.
You can actually it feels a lot more natural at that point.
Yes, because I've been playing Super Mario Brothers for so many years that it's really weird to go the other way.
A key thing there to keep in mind too is that the way we originally coded it was set up it only accepted one fire button at a time out of all three. There was no multi-button, right? But then you added the ability for it to track that.
Well, the issue on the NES controller is, for most of the Intellivision games, some of them require 3 buttons. So I just didn't think about allowing to press both of them at the same time. So I had A, B1, A be one of the buttons, or A is one of the buttons, B be the other button, and you press them both to get the third button.
I see.
So
Yeah.
you could play 3-button games on it, but there was no thought of, hey, what happens if you just needed a 2-button games, but you needed to press both of them at the same time?
Right.
It wasn't possible on the original mapping.
And that was a fascinating thing to learn too, was that and it surprised me. The Intellivision, of course, we know has 3 fire buttons, but that the Intellivision's architecture only detects any one of the 3 buttons being pressed, or basically more than one button being pressed at the same time, and that's it. Whether it's 1 and 3, 2 and 3, 1 and 2, the system doesn't know the difference at that point. So it just detects that there's more than one button being pressed, or any one of the individual buttons are being pressed. So that was an interesting little surprise. I would have assumed you could detect any combination of button presses.
Yeah, and just in case anyone's wondering, I've played on a lot of different versions of the INTYNES, and I've tried a lot of different controllers. I've tried all the new 8-bit DOE wireless controllers. All of them have worked great. I haven't had any issues, and I don't play with, like, I'm not going to just play with this one controller all the time. Like certain games, I want the disc. Certain games, I'm going to play with this because I've got the keypad. If I'm playing like, Super Mario Brothers, I'm going to play with an NES controller. It's just, so I have all these different controllers, and I use certain ones for certain games, and it's nice to have, this product that lets you pick whatever you want to play with. Right. And, it'll help your gameplay whenever you can have the perfect controller tailored to the game you're playing.
So Casey, I don't know if you have a Tengen remote control, but apparently that was one of Caleb's childhood controllers.
Yeah. It's also known as the Turbo NES Turbo controller, but the company is named Tengen, but it's a Turbo.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Which controller is that?
It's
anyways, that thing was a pain in the butt, but this last update, it works. When I have to hear Caleb complain about it not working, no, Caleb's been very cool about it.
Basically, it was a weird thing because basically, from what I learned, is that the hardware itself didn't follow the sort of standard specs and such of a traditional Nintendo controller, because basically it was making extra bits of noise that normal system wouldn't even pick up on. So it was like, who cares at the time? They're like, it doesn't matter. So our system was listening, though, for that extra bits of information to distinguish whether it was a Nintendo or Super Nintendo controller. So it got a weird feature that basically what would happen is you would plug this particular controller in, and it wouldn't glow at all. It would be off, except when you pressed buttons. And whenever you pressed any button, it would glow while the button was being pressed, and it would glow purple. So you kind of got like a light show as you're playing your game. So in a way, it was kind of a fun. It's a feature, not a bug. But
it's a Super Nintendo controller, so the mapping was messed up too.
Oh, what was it now?
Yeah.
It responded as the Super Nintendo controller, even though it's an NES controller. So the NES controller was trying to be mapped to the Super Nintendo mappings, so the buttons wouldn't line up either anyway.
I see. I guess it worked well enough for me to test at the time, but I didn't test it thoroughly. It was like just
it still had a mapping that worked, but it was different than it should have been.
Yeah, it was a functional. It was a functional device, just not optimal mapping for it.
Right. But that's been fixed then. Thank you there for nailing that one. That's good.
Yes, Kurt. You don't need the NES console. You just buy the INTYNES, and then you can buy NES controllers on eBay or pick them up wherever you are, and then you can use those to play Intellivision games. Light gun as well. Light guns, you can get original guns. They also have the remakes that they're selling in
there's
games.
Like the Japanese light gun that is available on Amazon. I think you can buy it brand new for like $30, right?
Is that less than that?
It was like $15 off of Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Jeez.
Yeah, like 15.
It's nice, but I just wish I would actually probably buy some lead to inject into the handle, just because it's too light.
Yeah. The original Nintendo actually does have a little lead weight inside the grip that just gives it a little bit of heft, and it does feel a lot nicer. It's worth it. But again, I think I recently went around to some mom and pop like and I found like one for $5 and one for $10. So don't think you got to pay 30 whatever or top dollar. Just shop around a little bit. Look around your local thrift stores and stuff. You'd be surprised if someone just wants to get rid of them. Also, I do believe, and I'm still waiting. I need to catch up with Luke on this, but I know that from what I last heard, and Luke can update if I'm wrong, but he's looking to explore possibly like a big box option for Duck Hunter, which would effectively include a zapper with the gun or with the game as well, and perhaps something with the INTYNES. I'm not sure about that part, but we're there might be some other options as well where Luke may be able to be if you don't have a light gun but you want one and you want to get Duck Hunter and you've got the INTYNES, well, there's going to be some options there as well. So
Sweet. So just for people that aren't quite sure, let's talk about what the INTYNES is for and what you need to play. So original, all the different consoles,
right?
You buy the INTYNES, you plug it in, and you put your cartridge in the end of it, and you plug in NES controllers with adapters, Super Nintendo controllers, and then you can use those controllers on your Intellivision to play games.
Right.
Now, the other thing are light gun games. So what do you need for light gun games? Same setup. You need an NES light gun, and you need a CRT TV, the old school TVs. And then you can play light gun games. And there are some good ones coming. So if you buy all the games or you want to play the light gun games, you're definitely going to need this whole setup. Start working on it now. You can start by picking up the INTYNES. It's a great product. The controllers, they bring a new level of gameplay, and there's already games in the works. So you're going to have many options. And we talked about, we hope that that's something that keeps going. People find new creative ways, like the dual action, 2-player games using that, and gun games, maybe a gun, controller combo game. We're going to have a lot of options. So you definitely want to get that set up, Kurt. If you need any help with that, send a message and I'll help you out. So now I guess the important thing that we haven't talked about is, what if, these people are watching, we want an INTYNES, where do I get one?
Yeah, I mean, you can reach me on Atari Age, 8bitwidgets.com. You can reach me on Facebook. I'm on all the, Facebook type, Intellivision groups. 8bitwidgets@gmail.com is fine as well. Just all one word, 8bitwidgets@gmail.com. I mean, it's all pretty easy to reach, I think, for the most part. I mean, I think Facebook, I'm kind of like locked down from just completely open to the world. So usually friends of a friend kind of thing can find me. If you know Casey, you can find me you can friend me that way. Or reach me that way. So, but it's just pretty straightforward. As far as pricing goes, I mean, so essentially the way it breaks down is, sure. So it's $130 for the base model. That's everything you need as far as that to basically play. It gives you 2 Intellivision or Nintendo controller ports. All right. Now there's some optional adapter cables if you want to do Super Nintendo controllers. And there's also for Famicom controllers, which I forgot to mention. Famicom light gun should also work, although I cannot promise that I've tested it because I don't have access to one, and they're kind of expensive on eBay. They're kind of collector's items, I guess, at this point. So, but in theory, we believe there's all signs indicate that it should work because of the way it operates and so forth. So, so the adapter cables are $20 each for the Super Nintendo and Super Famicom / Famicom version, which is like the 15-pin DB9 style. These are just standard cables. You could make them yourself if you want to, but we offer them as an option. There's also a collector stand, essentially for people who had the Inti port. Might remember there was a little like plastic inlay thing that was there as a stand. This is an optional thing we're offering now. It's $10. So if you want to have a stand to put it in, it's that's available as well. And it's a special gray and red one that matches the Inti port's color. Or INTYNES, sorry, getting all these different terms mixed up. So, but those are the breakdowns of prices. If you want to do 4-player light gun games, you do have to have 2 of them, so it's double that. But so I think that covers all the core product prices and such as far as how that works.
Luke, the Intellivision Collector, is saying, I purchased 50 plus NES light gun, tested working. My plan is to offer some for sale on the website as part of a big box set or separate.
Awesome.
So you'll have two options there if you don't already have one. That's awesome.
Definitely.
So Lay says that the new light guns don't support pistol whipping. They're they're too light.
That's it. They'll just crack. Let me see. You need something hard. Goodwill. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Facebook Marketplace, just check.
Yeah.
You're gonna find people giving away TVs. People just want them gone because they're heavy and they have to pay money to get them recycled. So you're basically doing people a favor. So don't feel like you got to pay a bunch of money. Maybe $20, maybe even $40 if you really like the TV and it has a remote, that kind of thing. But if you just need a TV that's functional, again, don't feel like you've got to just fork money out on that. It's I think most major cities. Obviously, if you live in more remote areas, it might be harder to come by. But I think with a little
You might have
persistence,
to drive a little bit.
You're right, a little bit of a drive or something. But if you're persistent, you're going to find something. I know there's like on Facebook here in near the Boston area. There's one guy who basically just says, "I get CRTs all the time. Just email me what you're looking for, and I'll let you know." And I'm in the market kind of for like a 20-inch, something that's not as big as my other one. If I want to do demos of like the INTYNES and other stuff, I want to have something like a 20-inch. I mean, I've got my 13-inch like 20 or 1084s and my Commodore 64 monitors and stuff. But even though they're kind of like, nah, just something more like a home television would be nice. So yeah, so just look around. I'm sure you'll find something.
Luke saying talks are to be done with the 8-bit widgets team in regards to selling the INTYNES units separately.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything we've left out or that we haven't covered? I think we
hit everything, but guys,
is there anything we've left out, Russ, Frank?
Can't think of anything.
No, I think it was very thorough, and you guys have
These
all
new units will have a small booklet that comes with them that will require lots of reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
pretty-
I
it
have
has pretty
that
pictures in it.
early version. So basically, it's all the instructions, how it works, and shows you how to get into the different modes. So you might be one that wants the Super Nintendo with the YB, or the BA. You'll be able to change all those modes. It's not very difficult at all. And like Frank told us, it remembers if you like certain ones, when you turn it off, it'll be on that whenever you turn it back on.
Or it'll remember it per controller type.
Right.
So if you
Of course.
unplug the NTT and plug it in NES, it remembers each one individually. So
That's pretty cool. So if you
Yes,
like
it
two
does.
different configurations with the same controller, you can just switch between the two
yeah.
for a single
Oh,
player.
I didn't know that.
That's cool. Yeah.
And we considered maybe having a small training course and giving like patches or something like that, but then decided against it, that would be kind of going a little bit too far, right?
Yeah.
Yes, a
Online
course
training.
on course.
So
Chuck
you get
asked
your
me
NTS
if it
badge.
works with rear projection big screen TVs. I don't think so, right?
No,
Yeah.
those won't work. The projections, DLPs,
Yeah,
or
Really?
such, no.
I thought rear projection might work with light guns. You sure about that?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I guess
The
it's
overall ones? I don't know.
I don't have a rear projection, but it's the refresh rate of the CRT
I
that
feel like there might
triggers
be
it.
latency, right? I mean, because after all, TVs aren't really meant to
The
be.
old style rear projections I thought might work, not the newer style ones.
Oh,
Of course,
well.
those.
Maybe I'm
I
not,
know
I'm
there
not
was
that retro to have one of those.
Right. I know there was one television that was really nice that I almost got, but I decided not to. Basically, it was sort of this weird hybrid era where it was a CRT, but it actually did have some kind of digital projection going on. So it actually wouldn't work with light guns because of something about the way the signal was being sent was no longer analog.
Actually, back in the day, I had a 65-inch rear projection.
I remember that thing.
Many stories about moving that thing. I moved lots and lots of times in college. But I never played Duck Hunt on it, so I don't know whether it would have worked or not.
Chuck says he could have swore he played Duck Hunt on one back in the day. I never tried games on one of those. We had small TVs, and then it was like, boom, we just got to the more modern big TVs, but not the projection.
Right.
You can still find those on sale. People really want to get rid of those.
Yeah, those monstrosities, the 400-pound
Yeah.
television. Yeah.
No way. All right. So anything else before we close it out and I'll move on to do the rest of the show? I just want to make sure we're not forgetting anything.
It has been great, everyone. Thanks for hanging out and watching and asking questions. And yeah, reach out anytime you have questions or ideas or anything. Yeah, especially homebrew developers. If you guys have questions about that, let me know if you have any thoughts on it or whatever. So,
all right. Well, I would like to thank Caleb, Russ, and Frank for coming on and talking about the INTYNES, and of course for creating this awesome product. It was two IntelliPort, IntyPort now, and then the INTYNES. It's like I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys do next. And if anyone needs any of the information, links to Caleb, or anyone else on Atari Age, or information about the product, reach out to these guys. You can reach out to me as well, and I'll help when I can and point you in the right direction. So definitely you want to look into it. And if you have any other questions, send me a message. I'm always glad to help or to forward it to the right person.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
You guys have
All
a
right,
great night.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, and I'll get into the regular show now. So don't be running off, guys.
No, I'm sticking around.
All right, I was telling them. You guys have a choice, but sometimes whenever the interviewees start leaving, everyone thinks the show's ending and people start dropping off. You see the viewers go.
Well, I was saying too, is like I've not been following the chat because I know that if I try to watch the YouTube chat, it's out of sync. It's like it'll just mess with my head. So I'm in our little room area now. I'm going to flip over to the YouTube part. So if anyone had said anything to me and I felt like I was ignoring them, I apologize. I'm not even looking at that. So I see the things pop up that Casey's picking out.
Yeah, I try to do that on all the relevant stuff and talk about it as well, but it's a lot harder whenever you've got all the people on.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, Casey. Honestly, it's like it's all the chat going on, and you're juggling, you're hosting, you're talking with somebody, interviewing, and you're trying to take those fieldless questions. So, yeah,
I'm trying. I do my best. Sometimes people are like, "How come you didn't read my comment?" I'm like, "I promised you."
No. I think most people know you well enough that they know you're not ignoring people. It's just
I try.
You're at the helm.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to head on into the news, and I'm sure we'll have you guys on again soon whenever we're going to be talking about another new product.
Excellent. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
So go buy the INTYNES. All right. Night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
All right. Big thanks to those three coming on. It really is a great product. And full disclosure, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not. I bought all of mine. Nothing was given to me. I did have early versions, yes, but I did pay for my units. Some people like to know that. So now we're going to get into the news. A little bit out of sorts. So what do we've got going on? Of course, like always, Caleb said that I should look at using a different browser. For some reason, this Safari browser resets every few minutes. Like I'll be in here ready to go on to the news and all of them reset if it's on Facebook, only on Facebook. So I'm not really sure what's going on there, but it gets annoying because I have everything lined out where I just switch tabs and then it's gone. All right. So we have Ice Trek, which I really, really wanted to play. I like Ice Trek. It's a little slow at the beginning. It takes a little bit to get used to, but that was this week's challenge, and I was going to play it last night, but I had to go get my IntyNES. This is actually Frank's, and I had to go get it he just updated the final firmware. So that's what I did last night, but I took my kids to this really cool ice cream place, $40 for the three of us to have some kind of dessert, but that was including tip, but the kids loved it. They were excited. We don't usually go out at like 7 o'clock and go to ice cream stores on a school night. So they were quite excited, and it was really good too. It was like a high-end place. Frank told me about it. So was able to come back, and I didn't have time. The wife, she wanted to spend time with me. I'm like, I got stuff I need to do. Okay, let's watch a show. So we watched 2/3 of a movie or something like that, and then we're going to finish it tonight when she gets home. But I didn't get to play Ice Trek. Long story. I know. But here are the scores for Ice Trek. Let me switch it over so you can see what I'm talking about. So here we have Stefano with a win, 28,090 points in Ice Trek. Romaine, 18,220. Kurt Kietsky, 18,010. Kevin Schultz, the guy that puts on this weekly challenge, 17,550. So 3 really close scores right there for second, third, and fourth. Papa Pete entered this week. It's been a while. 5th place, 10,310. I think the first time I played Ice Trek was with DJC, Pete, and Jeff. I can't remember if all 4 of us were there. Astro Smash, that's where I learned how to play it. Mike, 7340. Gotta quit highlighting him. Cristiano, 6730. Jose, 2460. And DJF participation. He probably had a hard time hooking the icebergs. You got to know what you're doing to get to that part. So this week here until Sunday, they're playing Qbert. I can play Qbert, but I'm not very good at it. I played it as a kid. I just didn't have it myself and never really got any skills. I'm okay, but definitely not going to be anywhere near the top of the board if I have time to play. So what else do we have next? So there's that one. Oh boy, now I'm going to have to go to the paper because all these reset. So the next one should be Electronite. Sorry for this, guys. I had them all ready to go. So we've got the sprint coming up, and we've got ROMs that we want to buy. All these publishers are in the works. They are working on stuff. We'll be bringing that up as it comes up. But Electronite here, just a couple days ago, I believe, on the 12th, ROM sale information. So there are a lot of ROMs that are currently available. Electronite digital package is available November 2025, and you can see all of the games there are currently available. Coming soon. This is interesting here. Paulista Avenue Redux, Mindhunter, Old School, Lost Caves of Cross. I know a lot of people have been wanting that ROM for a while. And then Homebrew Inc. digital packages that are already available. You've got several games already here from 750, 10, 1250, looks like to be the max. And then coming soon, this is a big one for me, Mr. Do. So we want that Mr. Do ROM. That's a 2025 game. We have Napoleonic Wars coming soon. Phoenix, that's another good game. That ROM's coming. Pumpkin Trilogy 2 and Rick Dynamite. I think Rick Dynamite was released in a package. There's so many different ways to get things, and sometimes I have things that aren't released and I get confused, but I'm pretty sure we've had that one before. And there was something. William wanted me to let you guys know that Mr. Do and Phoenix will be available in December. So that coming soon, sometime in December, Mr. Do and Phoenix will be there. So be on the lookout for that, definitely. Okay, next up, we've got a new game in the works. And of course, that is not what's here. So let me just scroll because I know it's a little bit up here. Pretty sure it is. So here is Solitaire. And I don't know if there's going to be, different options or if this is just straight up Solitaire. So let's go ahead. Oscar sent me this game and told me to play it on the show. And you can see on his group, Intellivision Homebrew Games, here are some screenshots. So we are going to go ahead and show you that game really quick. I know it's not mail call, but it's over here. First, I need to turn on the screen. And Oscar said, watch for it in the next week or two on his store. And that's his own website. You can buy other games there as well. So the ROM will be available. So there's different options, scoring, normal Las Vegas, deal 1 card, 3 cards. I remember my grandmother used to play 3 cards, and she would go 1, 2, 3 and flip it over. And then if she got stuck, she would flip them the same 3 cards and she would flip them the other way and then go that way. And if she got stuck again, she would start doing 1 card. So that's cool to see the options. And then 3, there's different choices there. And then 4 is to start a game. And this is the first time that I've played this, so I'm not really sure what I'm doing here yet. Okay, it's quite easy. Let's go ahead, and I think I was on 1 card. I must be, because unless it's just not showing them. So the 3's available. 7, 2. That one I can play. It goes right to it. That's helpful. So you don't have to sit there and go left, right to find it. It's there. I guess I could be doing this. Now my ace moves up. Am I missing anything else? I don't think so. The king. 9, 8. That one can play. 4. Everything's very responsive. I love the way whenever you go to pick a card, it automatically shoots down to where it plays. I wonder if there's more than one option. Like if you had 2 black kings showing, does it just go to the first one or does it cycle just between those 2? I don't know. Very cool. I'm looking forward to, I'll let you guys know whenever this is released. And I think this is the final version I have, but there might be tweaks being made because it is not released yet. Let me go ahead and catch up with chat. And then we'll get back to the news. Sean says Casey always pays for his units. I do. Like sometimes I get offered, we'll send you one. And I'm like, hey, I want to support. I love being involved. I love helping out. I love testing, but I always want to buy the units. Now, if someone wants to send me something and they ask, I'm like, I'll let them. But I always prefer to buy them because I want to support. It's not like these guys are selling thousands of things, you know. So I like to support. Maybe you could show the game for the Facebook group. Many of these I have not heard of. The ones who played Ice Trek should be glad Michael Hayes didn't enter. He's really good at that game. Yes, he is. He's good at a lot of games. Yes. Are you talking about the Mr. Do ROM, I'm assuming? And speaking of that, I know you're busy, but you didn't play Popeye. I went and looked. Mr. Poestyle, please play Popeye. I tagged you in it. I know I don't even have time to play him sometimes. I get it, but that's like your game, Popeye. Yes. So that one, you know what? He didn't say if it's going to be free or like a $5 or $10, whatever it is. Watch for it in the next week or two. Of course, whenever it's up, I'll let you guys know and I'll put the link whenever I find it. DJC says, I hope for a box version with green Las Vegas box. It'll look great. Yeah, definitely you need the green box. What does 16 and 1 mean? 16 and 1. Was it an option? I wasn't paying attention, to be honest. I'm looking. What is 16 and 1, Tofu? I'm missing something. All right, so next up, Oscar also has a book. And let me scroll back down, and then I'll pop it up here so you guys don't see a bunch of scrolling. Since all my Facebook links reset. All right, now we'll go back in there. So I have 2 of these on the way. I think I ordered 2. This is ECS Extended Basic Interpreter. Enhances significantly the experience with your Mattel ECS add-on, the computer keyboard. Now I've published the official booklet reference, 33 pages, including 9 game examples, and it's available at Lulu. There's a link there. This is Intellivision Homebrew Games, and here is the book or pamphlet, whatever you want to call it. And I'll show you guys this, and we'll look through it a little bit whenever they come. I'm not sure how long it's going to take for them to get here, but I did order 2. They're very inexpensive. I want to let me click it here. They are what? It says feed not available. Let me see if I just click it direct. There they are. So they are $6.52 paperback. So they're very inexpensive. And if you're into programming or just collect all things in television like I do, because I definitely can't program, definitely go pick one up. Again, this is in the... Did he post it everywhere? I can't... Yes, this is in Television Homebrew Games. I believe that's the only place that one is posted. We see Mike right there. Where is Mike tonight? We've been talking about remotes and on accident instead of by accident. And so there's the new book, Intellivision Day. So this is quickly approaching. So every year we do Intellivision Day. It's the birthday for Intellivision. They're calling it December 3rd. I know the sprint's coming out on the 5th. So I was wondering about that 2 days there difference. But Intellivision Day this year, you can sign up to play a game. This is not just for YouTubers. This is for anyone. You just sign up, say, hey, I'm going to play this game, and let me show you what that looks like. Of course, YouTubers do it as well, but the majority of people that play this are just regular people playing games. It's just a fun way to celebrate, see what people are playing. This is a very cool website. The Intellivision FAQ is quite extensive. I forgot where the Intellivision Day link is. Did I miss it? Streaming. Oh, come on. I have it up. I guess I could go. It's in the group. Probably the best way to find this is right here. I thought it would be right on the top of the page. Fast scrolling, nobody gets sick. Here we go. Go INTV day. Go INTV. And it looks like it redirects. So here we go. And you just sign up. 15 days away. And you pick a game. All of them are there. You can, or almost all of them are there. There are some obscure games or new homebrews that may not be available, but you just pick your game. Put in your first, last name, or whatever you want to put in. You don't have to put in everything. You can put an alias, whatever you want. An email. You can comment. And then I know some other people have signed up, so I don't think he's updated this yet. Because I know Mike's Gaming Gala and a few others have signed up. And I signed up under Casey Nidal and the Intellivision Gamer. And I did that right after Steve put it in there. So, and I only see 3 of us. I know there's more people there. You can go and look at previous years here and see how many people registered, how many unregistered were playing games on Intellivision's birthday. I already have that link live, and the show's ready to go. I just have to click it on that Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's not a normal day for me to stream, but I will be among a lot of other people. I'm going to do like I did last year. I'm going to have different guests pop on, and we are going to have 20-minute sessions. I've got them lined up. Sorry, didn't mean to leave that comment on. I wasn't on that screen where I could see it. So we're going to have different YouTubers and friends come in and play 20-minute games with me. You're supposed to play with a friend, preferably. So that's what I like to do is set up a schedule. And, we have Cyrus, PJ. We'll have several people coming in. Mike's Gaming Gala. Different people cycle in and out and play some games for about an hour and a half and chat with you guys. So that's what I plan on doing that Wednesday. So this one is a special shout out. Let me get the screen back. DJC Game Studios recently hit 2,000 subscribers. So big milestone. He's put in a lot of work for several years, and it's great to see him hit that. I just wanted to give a big shout out and thanks to DJC for all he's done. And if you guys don't already sub, definitely go give him a sub if you like Intellivision. He also does other retro consoles as well, but he is a big Intellivision guy like myself. So big congrats, Chuck, hitting 2,000 subs. It's not easy to do. And definitely this Wednesday, I know I'm going to talk about this later towards the end, but this Wednesday there's a sprint show. and there's going to be different guests on. I will be on this Wednesday, so 2 days away. It's 6:30 Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern. That is a new show on DJC Game Studios. There's going to be different people such as myself and other YouTubers. We're going to be talking all about the Sprint. So definitely check that out. I plan on being on as much as I can. I can't stream every day or be on YouTube shows every day, but I will be a regular. And that's all we've got for the news. Let's shoot in a mail call after we catch up with chat. Yeah, that one's going to be, it should be fairly quick. There shouldn't be a long wait for that one. We're talking like this week or next week, because he sent me that last week. So sometime this week, next week, nanochess.org. Let me throw that up there really quick. I don't think I have a banner. Nanochess.org. Super simple. And let me go ahead and just pop it up here. I've been there a lot, so it just pre-populated. So here we go. We'll check and see. Maybe it's there. I don't know. But you can get his books here. He does other stuff besides Intellivision. It's a very cool website to go check out. Let's see in the store. Maybe it's there. I forgot to check before the show. Castle of Death. I don't think it's here yet. But here are other games you could buy. $9.90 USD, Castle of Death. Man, I love that game. Here is Frankenstein's Monster, Unlucky Ponies Adventures, Aardvark. Aardvark's another really good game. Chuck and Phil, Retro Bliss Gaming, were playing that, and I'm like, eh. And then I tried it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I get it now. I love that game. Meteors, Inty Basic Showcase Volume 2. Here's some of his books. Programming Games for ColecoVision. He has 2 books out for the Intellivision. So definitely give that website a look-see. Let's go ahead and get into mail call. Like I said, there's not a ton of stuff, but I do have some stuff. First up from Tim Duarte. Finally got another new Odyssey 2 homebrew. Cold case. Let me show you the inside. Hey, Casey, thank you for the continued support and purchasing my homebrews. Tim Duarte. So here we got a manual and the Odyssey 2 cart. Now, they used to be on recycled carts. I think these are 3D printed. Oh, there's a light on there. I haven't had one with a light yet. I'll put it right here with my stack of Odyssey 2 games. There's like 20 of them sitting here. Eventually, I'll get my Odyssey 2 and my Atari set up where I can actually play. So this is another Pi RTO. At first he was saying don't show it, but he's shown it and he's talked about it. There's only a few that he had, so I'm going to show it. So it's the same internals as like your Pi RTO 2, except for you've got an Intellivision dude branded Pi RTO 2. Looks to be I guess it's about the same. Real close anyway. Really happy to have that. I love branded items. Set it down here. My new issue of Retro Gamer came just today. In my mailbox, it's one of those like drop down things. So it's hard to tell, but they almost always smash a little bit. You can see the magazines don't go in very well, but these magazines are great. I subscribe to this one, Retro Gamer, and Old School Gamer. It's definitely, if you like physical magazines, I highly recommend them both. Get back to the comments here. Kurt says I got a couple Odyssey homebrew games. So I can't remember how many I have. I have a lot. I bought everything that Tim Duarte's put out. I found a few other ones at different places. I bought some from overseas. I have quite a few. Next up, I finally decided I need to start going after what I've wanted for my 2600 collection. Activision games topped that list. This is Activision Tennis, and it's complete in box. Everything's in here. It's one I didn't have yet. I don't know how many 2600 games I have. I have quite a bit, but I do have a ton of homebrew. I need to work on my 2600 original collection, and I have another one coming. It should have been here today, but I think it's going to make it here tomorrow. So I'll show it next week. I think the last thing I've got to show you guys, I showed you guys Retro Bros Homebrew, NES Homebrew, and he was nice enough because I missed the Kickstarter, and he sent me the game map. So I really appreciate it, John. I love things like this, maps and extras, and I would have did the Kickstarter. I just missed it. So I really appreciate that. Mr. Poestyle says, Casey, I PM'd you earlier. Woot has the 7800 for $60. Again? Sweet. So I got 2 of them. I don't even know how many 7800s I have now. I've got at least 4. And it's because I think I had 2 already. So I have 5. I had 2, and I saw one on Amazon. It was like $75. I'm like, hey, that's a good deal. I'm going to grab a third one because I want to keep one sealed. And then I saw a post, someone Woot has them for $59.99. I'm like, well, son of a. So then I bought 2 more. I plan on giving one to one of my neighbors where I grew up. He had 2 daughters, and he was always outside with all of us kids playing catch, basketball, football, baseball, everything, always out hanging out. And I always looked back and I always appreciated him and all the, hanging out he did with us and playing the sports. And he was one of the early places where I played Atari 2600, and I wanted to gift him one of the Plus consoles and some of my spares. And I wish they worked with, the multi-carts, but they don't. But I'll give him quite a few games, and I haven't done it yet, but that's what I plan on doing with one of them. I've been wanting to do that for a few years since I've had them, but we'll talk about that more whenever I finally go do it. And I'm going to hopefully sit down and play some games with them too. It's been a few decades since we played Atari together. Kurt says, I have a complete Odyssey console in the box. Beautiful. Got 25 original games. I have a lot of stuff too. I like the Odyssey too. My neighbor, if you walked out a front door and went right, that neighbor had Odyssey too. And the neighbor the other way, which was right around the corner because we were on the corner, that was the first place. They had a Nintendo NES near launch right before me. I can remember visually being 10 years old, walking in and going, whoa, what is that? And it was Super Mario Brothers. And that memory will never go from my head. And I went home and said, I want Nintendo. And we got it like a few months later, I think. I don't know if it was Christmas or when we got it. It had to be Christmas. All right, so what else? Homebrew Highlight. So we went through the news. I got all the mail call items. Homebrew Highlight is Mermaid. And this was a PRGE 25 release. And here is the box. Let me switch it over. Where is Homebrew Highlight? What the heck did I do with it? I guess we'll go to full screen. I would have swore I had it right here. I lost it somehow. Did I delete it? There it is. Way down lower. Oh, got to go this way. So here is the box. Mermaid Ocean. Basically, this is a real fancy version of Adventure. So you're in the ocean, and and that is going to be this side here. You have to find the castles, but you have to get the key to enter, and you have to find the treasure to pass the level before you enter. So you have to go around, find all that stuff. You can collect other gems and things for points. And then whenever you get in the castle, it looks like this. And there's a map. These are huge screens that keep getting bigger. So you basically, and actually that is how you end the level. You can see, I don't even know what she is. You have to give the treasure to her. You have to find her. So you're going around all these different rooms. Sometimes they're dead ends. Sometimes it just keeps looping around. You can hit a map and it'll show you everywhere you've been. And you just keep going through the levels. It gets harder and harder. I've made it. I've been to the 4th. I haven't made it any farther than that. But this is a fun, well done game. First played it, PRG 24. It was an early version. Full color manual. Beautiful graphics on that. Here is the cart. It's hard to tell, but it's not just, it's shiny. I think I've got it where you can see it a little bit. And here are the overlays. Again, that beautiful artwork. You've got the upper buttons are bubble, which protects you. And you've got magic change on the lower left. And you've got speed boost on the lower right. You move with the disc, of course. And then the number 8 is your map. And we'll show you that here in a second. Pull out the LTO. I'm going to play with the original Intellivision 2 controller just because I've already put the INTYNES in and out so many times. But you need the buttons on this one, so might as well play it that way. Bring this back up. There is the, turned on the TV. It's going to take it for a second. So there is the title screen. Mermaid Enchanted Ocean 2025. Music. Classic. I don't hear anything. So you've got easy, medium, and hard. And it's not easy going around on easy. I haven't even tried medium or hard yet. Let me get back to the chat. And then we'll get going. Jonas Ness, that Odyssey cart had Intellivision Dude on there. Is that made by our buddy Robert, aka Intellivision Dude? Not the Odyssey. That was something different. This is a PyRTO multi-cart for the Intellivision. But yes, that is branded the Intellivision Dude. Mermaid's a great game for Intellivision. Yes, it's fun. If you like adventure style games, it is fun. Oh my gosh, I still have that thing up there. Banners. You guys should all know nanotest.org now. I guess I could take my name off there as well. You guys know who I am. Come on. There we go. All right, we're going to do easy. So you have different names. You can be Maria, Taylor, Renee, Alexis, Diana, and I don't even know how to say that one. Sekelia. So I need a hack of this. I need Michelle in here. If you know, you know. I think it'd be funny to have Michelle. We'll play with Maria since Michelle's not available. So you can't touch any of the fish. These are points. Woo! You just scroll left and right. You can go either way. I believe eventually it loops. Avoiding sharks and fish, collecting things. And there is the treasure you need to get out of the level. You can see now it's in the lower, in the center area. I don't know if that's a crown or what it is. But you need that to pass the level. So now we just have to find the key. Woo! And there's a riptide. You can ride those and go fairly fast through the levels. Or through the screens, not levels. So you're timed as well. So wow, the key's on the same as the castle. So now in the lower, you see I have the key and I have the gift. You can see my time in the upper right. You have to finish before that timer runs out. So now that I have the key, we can enter the castle. Here's the map. Obviously, we've been in one room, but that you can tell that map covers a lot of this, at least at the later levels. So you want to avoid getting hit. And now it's just exploring around and avoid getting hit. Collecting things for points. So now you'll see if I hit in the map, I've got 4 screens. Oh. And that was close. Oh, I hit the bubble just in time. So now I'm invincible for a little bit. I hit the bubble. There's only so many of those you can use. So now let's check out the map. So you can see how far we went. It's a pretty big map. We went 5 screens left, and we went all the way up, and now we're heading right. So you can kind of explore around on your own, check the map, make sure you're not repeating the same screens, find screens that you missed somehow. But you need to find that picture on the back of the box, and I'd like to show it, at least the first level. Oh, that was close. So now we've only have going left. Let's check. So now we've almost went all the way around in a loop. This one's, I think, a little smaller than the next level. So now we're pretty much back where we started. Now we'll go head up the middle. Ooh, almost got tagged there. Sometimes I pop in a screen and boom, I'm dead. So there's a complete dead end. Another thing too, if you go out of a screen and come back, it changes. It's random. So if you don't like whenever you pop in, pop, whoa, like that. Now I've got a different fish there. I know this is going to be a little longer than your typical Homebrew Highlight, but I'd like to at least show that once. Sometimes I find it within like a minute. Then other times it's like, of course, it's going to be the very last end. I'll catch up with chat here in a minute. Oh boy, which way? We're gonna go right. Okay, uncharted territory again. Right or up. Of course, wanting to show you guys it's going to be the very last. Oh no! So only catch up with chat since we're doing that. Nothing new. All right, so here you can see we've got a lot of it uncovered. So sometimes it kicks you all the way out. I forget what causes that. So let's go up onto that right side there. I think up in the next one. Nope, I missed one. There it is. So if you have the crown or the treasure, you just come in here and touch the chair, and then that's how you pass the level. And then it'll tell you your completion time, and then you move on to level 2, and basically you repeat. Going around, you have to find the treasure and the key again, and then you have to find the castle, and you have to find and clear just like what we did there. Now, I don't know if there's more to it than that, because I've only got to the level 4, and I didn't play it very long. But Mermaid, I really enjoy it. I was really looking forward to it seeing the finished version after I saw that early version at PRGE 24, and it did come out this year at PRGE. And that's Intellivision Revolution. Watch Cyber Carolina on eBay. He's been putting out different versions of he'll put out a couple, maybe 5 different games, kind of rotating them around. gonna flash you guys. So where are we at? 125 gameplay video update. So I've been working hard. If you guys are members or members, you already see all these games popping up. So I have every week, I'm going to release a game on Friday, a video bouncing back and forth between homebrews and original 125 games. I'm actually trying to do 2 homebrews, 1 original 125, 2 homebrews, 1 original 125. So every Friday they'll come out to everybody. You channel members, you're going to get to see them as soon as I post them, but watch for those. If you guys have a game that I haven't done and you want to send a suggestion, I love that. I've done that 3 or 4 times. Say, hey, I haven't seen this yet, and I'll make that the next one, assuming that I know how to play the game. So watch that. They're in playlists. You can follow. You can go check out the original 125 or the homebrew playlist to see those. Eventually, I'm going to have a complete set, the 125 original games, and then I'll be done. And then it's just focusing on the homebrews. YouTube video highlight. I've got a playlist there where I put interesting videos that I think you should watch. I don't remember if I talked about it last week. I put 2 new videos in. One was Mike talking about homebrew ROMs for your Sprint console. And another one was something a little bit interesting. Let me see. I think I still have it up here. Nope, it's gone. There's an interesting video. You should definitely check it out. And that if you like it, that channel has several other versions of different games that you could check out, similar videos. And I had it on here that if it wasn't a long show, which already is, we're already 2 hours in, I was going to play a game of Ice Trek, see where I could go. I needed, on a short show, try to work that in. If it's not a long game, play a game live and submit my score. Upcoming shows, I've got Tuesday. Tomorrow I'll be going live. We'll be playing PRG games. You guys, I'll throw some games in that we haven't played yet in the poll. You guys, speaking of poll, I need to have the results. You guys pick what game. I'll play in chat for about an hour. And then Wednesday we have the Sprint show on DJC Game Studios. That'll be 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern, as we talked about earlier. And then Thursday I'll go live playing games again where you guys vote and I'll play the game. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's a lot of streaming. That's definitely more than I've ever done in 1 week. That's for sure. I think that's all I've got for this show, guys. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for watching live, for catching up later. I appreciate you as well. And if you haven't already and you like Intellivision content, hit that sub button. It's all I do at least once a week. We're here lately several times a week. And I thank you guys for being here. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow for some live gameplay. And that will be 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern start time. And it'll be about an hour. And then I'll lead you into Mike's Gaming Gala and Retro Bliss, Phil's show. They're going to talk about their top 5 Genesis games. I have not yet. I have not done anything with the Tutor Vision. Man, there's only so much time in the day, but that stuff's coming. There's some other stuff, Tutor Vision coming, and I'll be sharing that with you guys. And once all that's here and I'll be piecing together, I can do like a basic video, but Mike's Gaming Gala does have one where he talks about the Tutor Vision. So definitely I would check that out for now. I'm going to do a really in-depth one, but that's going to take some time. It's going to involve a lot of people, a lot of editing. And I just don't have the time to do it all quick with doing the show every week. I've got young kids working overtime to pay for all the stuff I buy. So it just takes time. Believe me, it's on the radar and it's on my list. So we'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.
Rise up, get ready for the fight. The Intellivision gamer, shining so bright. Reviews and gameplay. He's got it all from classics to new. He stands tall. Interviews and insights. He's on a mission, unleashing the power of retro intuition. He's got the knowledge, the passion untamed. Intellivision burning with the flame. YouTube's his stage, says brothers unite. Intellivision gamer, he brings the light with the game console. Take it